Hey everybody, the economic apocalypse is just beginning. So today we're going to talk about more signs of what is to come in this US financial system, the economy, where so many people now are in dire straits and need constant support and assistance handed out to them in order to just have a roof over their head and not become another tent on the sidewalk. All right, we're going to give you an update today on the housing situation, the rent moratoriums. Let's go ahead and get started. Now, first, let's start off on a lighter note, a positive note. Now, people a lot of times will say that this is a kind of a depressing channel, a doom and gloom channel. All I'm doing is trying to prepare you for what I see that's coming down the road. I really feel like America's headed in a very dangerous situation. Not headed, we're already there. But let's start off right here. Here's a little bit of positivity amongst the financial negativity, I guess you could call it. Shaq paid off this guy's ring at a store, at a jewelry store. Okay, so pretty cool, right? This guy in the blue shirt over here, he's in the jewelry store to pay on his ring loan for when he got married. Shaq comes up and say, "Hey, pay it off, buddy." Gives the guy his card, give the employee his card. And of course, this guy's a happy camper. All right, so there's some good news we like to see, especially millionaires and the well-off, help the people in need. We see so much corporate greed nowadays that it's good to see even a little story like that, in my opinion. Pretty cool to see. And when Shaquille was asked about the details, he basically said it the following way. I'm going to do my best Shaq voice. "I'm just trying to make people smile." All right, so hope you guys like that. Let's go ahead and get into some other economic news today. Recent article, CBS News, cbsnews.com. What's behind the push for a fourth stimulus check? On the surface, if you're listening to a lot of the mainstream narrative out there, that there's this economic recovery and things are coming back up, we're reopening, then why would we need a fourth stimulus check? It doesn't make any sense, right? Well, look at some of the failures highlighted here. 30 million people still waiting for stimulus check number 3. And I'm sure there's stimulus check 1 and 2, a lot of people that haven't gotten those. Only 41% of unemployed are receiving benefits, right? A lot of times the unemployment lasts so long that you fall off of eligibility, and then guess what? You're magically no longer counted in the numbers. Therefore, the unemployment number can keep dropping, even though we have 700, 900,000 a week new jobless filings. 1 in 6 renters still behind on rent. So here we are, more than a year after the shutdown recession, after the big devastation began, and still 1 in 6 renters is behind on rent. How pitiful is that? So yes, we do need stimulus check number 4, number 5, number 6, and continuous. And speaking of continuous, what some people would call universal basic income, let's take a look down in this article a little bit more. Here's the latest. 21 senators signed a letter to the president in support of reoccurring stimulus payments. What does that sound like to you? Reoccurring stimulus payments. So monthly checks are likely going to be going out, and we'll have to see what happens, but that is what is being reported right now by a lot of lawmakers. And they point out the obvious, right? That $1,400 payments being distributed will not tide people over for long. And 6 out of 10 people say that $1,400 payments for this latest rescue package will last them less than 3 months. In some areas, $1,400 is not even going to pay you a month's rent. But yet what keeps happening? Rents still keep rising. Home prices still keep rising. Money printing like never before. Inflationary pressures like never before. So on one hand, the money printers, they create the inflation. And yet on the other hand, they're wondering why people can't afford the cost of living. So now it's reoccurring stimulus checks. Do you see the problem here? This is essentially a moral hazard economy. All right, so the money printers cause the problem and then they come in to fix it. with more handouts, and you have more and more people now dependent on handouts. 1 in 6 people still cannot pay their rent. What is going to change the direction of this situation? This is not good. America is headed for a financial collapse. And if you ask many people, we're already there. Look at most of the people now in the bottom 50% who, even before the shutdown recession, most of those were living paycheck to paycheck, over 70%. I'm sure once we get the latest survey on that, it's going to be even more. And like I say here often, it's going to be worse than living paycheck to paycheck. It's going to be living stimulus check to stimulus check, or reoccurring stimulus check to reoccurring stimulus check. And how many people are going to not want to work after they see so many people now just getting universal basic income or reoccurring stimulus checks? Who's going to want to work for minimum wage? Even if they raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour, isn't that going to be a big disincentive to work? Well, speaking of work, there is a place that you could probably get a job at right now, unless you have a felony on your record or something like that. Yahoo News: police in Portland are quitting in droves. We know there's a lot of press, especially lately here in the recent past, of what's been happening with law enforcement and the controversies. And this is a loaded topic, no pun intended, but people are really going after the police in Portland, and they're basically quitting in record numbers, and they can't hire police fast enough. But the point I wanted to make from highlighting this is that, yes, there are jobs, but you're going to be putting your life on the line, and you're going to be putting yourself in some very dangerous situations. I think there are some good police out there. There's also a lot of bad police, and police that are basically revenue collectors for the city and just looking for any reason to write people a ticket, speed traps and things like that. So it's sad that a lot of police have turned into revenue collectors, and it's going to be harder and harder to find good police officers, and it's going to get more dangerous. There's going to be rising crime if police are going to be quitting like this, like they're doing in Portland, if they do that across the United States. All right, so a crumbling, deteriorating economy, poverty increasing, less police, more danger for you and me. So let's continue to be careful and use caution out there. What's going on with the spending? Well, another record U.S. budget deficit, another record high for March. The spending shows no signs of stopping or even slowing down. It's actually accelerating, and a lot of people are pointing to the spending and the pattern, if you look at the money printing, as a end stage situation where you see the debt, the spending basically go parabolic. So is the dollar on its final leg? Is it on its final leg? Is it on its deathbed? Many people are pointing to the price in assets, and especially digital assets and stocks and other digital assets, and pointing to the prices and the huge run-ups that we've been seeing as, yes, it's a sign of an end game for the U.S. dollar. We'll have to see, but we know prices are rising astronomically. We've been reporting here on home prices, car prices, the overall cost of living across the board, inflationary, 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 everywhere you look. From this article here, the government posted a March budget deficit of $660 billion as direct payments to Americans under President's package were distributed through the Treasury Department. The deficit for the first 6 months of 2021 ballooned to a record $1.7 trillion compared to a $743 billion deficit comparable 1 year ago. So the debt and the spending is accelerating. It's getting worse, folks. Inflation is going to continue to get worse. Jobs are going to be harder and harder to find. Not just jobs, good jobs. Of course, if you want to work in fast food, California's reopening. A lot of places out here hiring. Taco Bell, Carl's Jr., Jack in the Box. Jobs are there, but will they pay the rent? Probably not. So you're going to have to, on top of a lot of these jobs, you're going to have to get a monthly stimulus check. And the way it's looking, with 1 in 6 people still unable to pay their rents, maybe it's going to have to be a never-ending or permanent rent moratorium. All right, switching gears here. Over on Twitter, Errol Weber tweeted out the following. If America is over $28 trillion in debt, how can we be giving away hundreds of billions of dollars in foreign aid? Well, good question, Errol. And that's what a lot of people are asking. And they're asking, why can't we help the people here at home, not the multinational corporations, not the banks, not endless liquidity for the banks. Why not help the people? Why not build housing for all of the people that can't pay their rent? You could easily fix the problem with more housing. Just build more housing. We have all these zoning restrictions, all this red tape. Just sign whatever you have to do, sign an EO and get it done, but they're not doing it. Why? Ask yourself why. Right? They have an endless printing press and there's still millions of people in dire need of assistance. Why are they not giving out more assistance to the people? I think you know the answer to that, people. Thanks everybody for watching this report here today. Please stay vigilant. I know a lot of my audience here are great people, probably the kind of people you would want as your neighbor. When SHTF hits, and actually it's already hit in many locations for many people already, but the more self-sufficient you can be, you probably heard the term be your own central bank, bet against the debt, try to put some money in some assets. I'm not telling anyone how to invest, but what I'm doing is trying to put money in assets that are going to rise. And I continue to buy precious metals right now. That is a beaten down asset. Metals took another drop here recently. And what do? I sell off some of the assets that went up, and some of the assets I'm in have gone up pretty significantly here in the past year, especially. So take more off the table and buy more of the asset that's been beaten down, right? So take your gains and put it where it has the most potential, the beat down assets right now, especially silver. Right, that's my opinion on that. Link down below if you guys want to get silver deals. I just got another order recently from Golden State Mint. That's the place I've been going to. Bigger selection over there as far as silver, especially compared to some of the other brokers and dealers that I've been talking about here on this channel over the past couple years. Link down below. You help the channel and you help yourself by hedging against this insane debt monster. Thanks for watching and support, everybody. Stay well, stay safe, stay prepared. Bye for now. Peace.